sometimes you take a sip of decaf espresso and think, am I getting used to this? Is decaf actually good? Can't believe I'm admitting to that, or both things, really. Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo. I hope you had a good week. It's now the weekend, and this is a time that I'd like to chat with you live. Trying to do that at least once a week, at least for this time, because, experimenting with YouTube Live to see how well it works. I want to figure out how to do YouTube redirects. That's kind of like the Twitch raid feature that you might have heard about. But I'm not exactly sure how to navigate that. YouTube doesn't exactly make it, super simple to do, unfortunately, which is a little bizarre because they've got the feature built in, right? But it's never the feature, it's the implementation. So I know that it exists, and I'm open to being quote unquote rated, or what would they call it on YouTube, redirected to. It's just that YouTube and live video, usually not the place people go to for live video. Live video on YouTube is a bit of a minefield, really. A whole bunch of stuff that I'm not interested in, but that's typically the case for YouTube. Scrolling through YouTube, I'm like, not interested, not interested, not interested, not interested. Why did you think I not like that? Why did you think I like that? No, 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 no. So thank you for not saying no to me. I just sent out a newsletter. The newsletter is still active. The easiest way to subscribe to the newsletter is pop over to my Twitter account, and then at the top of the profile, you'll see join Chris Pirillo's newsletter, the CPU universe. CPU, or Chris Pirillo's universe. In there, it's kind of a digest of mostly the videos that I've done over the past week, including the shorter videos that I've been having a blast with, honestly, especially like remixing other people's audio. I've been having fun with it. Like, it's seriously like funny stuff where I think it's funny, but you got to get picked up by the algorithm, right, in order to accelerate. I'm still waiting for YouTube to let me toggle and go with my own dedicated channel URL. I've met the qualifications, just that because they've introduced YouTube handles, I'm like caught in between, so I can't actually create the handle for this channel yet, so it's still a bunch of random numbers and characters that I have to remember. You're subscribed to the channel, but you don't get live notifications. What? You should, if you have them turned on, I don't know why. That is weird. Ad blockers affect YouTube recommendations dramatically. Oh, I believe that. But I don't really use YouTube on the desktop. I have YouTube Premium, so I'm not worried about ad blocking. I know a lot of people are keen on ad blocking, but as soon as YouTube rolled out that feature, I'm like, yeah, sign me up. All the bonuses, fine. I mean, I use YouTube enough. I just don't deal with ads anymore. I just assume pay to not see ads for the stuff that I like, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch or beyond, for sure. You didn't get the notification? Really, Anish? Let's see here. Did I get the notification? I haven't received the notification either. This is bizarre. I usually, because sometimes, like, minutes into the show, I'll get the bloop. Oh, there it is. Hang on. I just got the notification. Now live. Right there. Show the pictures. Tech Live right there. Got it. Done. Yes. Okay. That notification went out. Got to give people some time, right? I guess email's moving slow on Saturday. Maybe it's on decaf. So anyway, welcome in. Hope you have a good week. Had a good week. Not sure exactly what's on your radar. There are a few things that I certainly wanted to cover, including starting with an unboxing. I don't know if you're into unboxings at all. It's kind of a thing that people are into. A few weeks ago, and this is before I had kicked off the dedicated tech YouTube channel, I ended up doing something that I don't normally do, and that is talk about headphones and earbuds, because I'm not an audiophile. I have opportunities to look at them every so often, but usually kind of like think, there's nothing that interesting about what this is. It's not different. It's just yet another, product that I'm probably not going to use. There was an exception to the rule with what JLab has produced in these sport headphones, earbuds, air whatevers. There's so many brands, so many names. Sorry, JLab. I know you sent me your new product, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, because there is a huge value add to the Epic Air that I've got in my hand right here, not just with the noise canceling feature. Just trust me. There's a feature on here that I think is a killer feature for headphones or earbuds or whatever the heck you call these things. So if you didn't see me, what I did there, I didn't stick this in my ear. I put it on my glasses. I love this. This is easily my favorite out of all of them, because I cannot easily wear these as easily as my wife can. She'll probably be wearing these as her current earbuds wear out. What is the generic term for these things? Is it earbuds? Buds? Ear speakers? But I have an issue sticking things in my ear. My ear gets sore. I guess I have like odd-sized ears. I've tried different tips. I've tried different brands, but inevitably, they start bothering me after a while. What I didn't realize I wanted was something like this, and there are two. I've just got one in for an example. This is on. They sit on the stem on my glasses, so they hover above my ear, allowing me, especially when I stream, to be able to hear any kind of audio alert, any kind of sound effect, anything that might be going on. And I don't have it exactly fully connected, so I'm not hearing the background music you are right now. But this is a JLab product, right? I use these every night on Twitch. Sometimes I'll wear them walking around the house when I've got like lo-fi music playing, although they're really only good in this room and I want to make sure I have enough battery life. They charge by way of USB right here at the desk. But yeah, so I was never really into the ear things, apart from headphones. But headphones make you sweat, right? Or at least when you're in this kind of scenario, right, where you're active and the lights and everything, you start to get hot, because you're covering up part of your head, which is great during winter, I'd imagine. But, certainly for a streaming environment, not as much fun. So, anyway, back to the unboxing. I need to frame that. I needed to explain what it is that I'm using and why I'm happy that JLab exists, not just because they sent me the new product. This Epic Air ANC True Wireless, you can see it's got all what you would expect from this type of product, including 48 hours Bluetooth playtime, smart active noise canceling, wireless USB charging. There's the little pod of sorts, low latency movie mode, sweat proof, a wear detect sensor. So it comes with the variety of tips inside. So it is a complete system. But you're thinking, Chris, yeah, I've seen this. Okay, yeah, we've seen this before. So what makes these that much more special than your other average buds, if you will? I'm going to show you as I unbox. They've got it. They've got everything. Oh, hang on. Oh, I see. They've got a label here. It says you got to use scissors. You got to read the box. That's key to unboxing. I missed that. Let me see if I can whittle that away. Not as easy to get the scissors at that angle, or I guess I could cut it from down there. This is probably the worst unboxing you will have watched all week. This is why I typically do fun boxings. I try to make them fun. So the killer feature for this particular product is not the audio. Not the audio. It's not the charging. It's not the noise cancellation. It is as soon as I get it out, I will get. It's gonna be like a kid at Christmas. Just gonna tear into it here. There we go. Okay, got it open. There's the quick start guide. I'll put it there. There's probably an easier way of opening the box. I better hold on to all the extras there. There's the little pod, and inside I assume, yep, they're the buds. They'll come with juice there. Ooh, nice flexible lid there too. That's cool. That's nice. I really like that. Charges, I'd assume. Oh, right. Look at that. The charging cable is included. USB Type A. Okay, that works. I assume that is the charging cable that is connected to it. So, what makes this? Where'd it go? The problem with having like a lot of black things in your office and getting new black products is that when you drop the product, it disappears. That's a problem. And how many of you have ever lost your buds? How many of you you couldn't find them? they've got the solution. Tile is built in. I did that on purpose, by the way. Tile to demonstrate, like, you might lose your earbuds, right? You might lose them. Can't find them. No, don't do you any good. Tile is now integrated in this product, whose box is completely destroyed. And I apologize for that. Like, I need to bone up on my unboxing skills. The Epic Air has Tile built in. So you will never, or at least for a period of time, lose your earbuds. Tile built right in. Boom. Like, that's the kind of feature that you think, why don't they put that in every product? Like, the smaller something is, the more you need it to be tracked. And, you know, while we're on the subject, why don't they put that kind of feature into remote controls, which we're also constantly losing? Anything that can be misplaced needs to have something like a Tile functionality, right? Where Tile is a service that you could use to track things. You know, you could stick a little Tile into your luggage. People have done that with AirTags. You can stick into things like, you know, backpacks, you know, that's something that might get lost or something that could get stolen. So it's built into the product. So the chances of you misplacing it, high. The chances of you losing it permanently, low. So you got to appreciate that they didn't just work through the audio engineering and the design aspect of this product, but building that critical feature into something that they know is likely going to happen. So, boom. Big thank you. And I say this because Diana, who wears these types of products, very often will say, where did it go? Did you move it? I can't find it. I'm like, well, maybe if you kept it in your ear. Well, I needed to take it out. I needed to... Well, do you know where it is? I don't know where it is. Now she'll have nothing to complain about. Well, she'll probably find something to complain about. She will not be able to complain about losing these with the Tile feature built in. So that is the feature I really wanted to talk about. That is the breakaway. Okay, I know exactly where they are. I didn't lose them that quickly, although there are times, like when I'm building Lego sets, there are times that I will lose a piece on the floor. There we go. And it's got the, I assume that's the, yep, there's the contact strip. There we go. Oh, that's pretty comfortable. I may need to like change the tips, but they're in my ears. They fit. Very small, very unassuming, very findable. Hang on. It's gonna come out. It's gonna pop out, or not. It felt like it was gonna go. I guess not. Hey, Ms. K's TV. Glad you were able to catch me live. Longtime fan of the channel. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're subscribed to the new channel here. Someone needs to invent boomerang buds, says Loreborn. Yeah, no doubt about that. Hey, Saramo Junak. How you doing? Yeah. Well, of course, Apple's got their stuff built in, but if you don't live in the Apple ecosystem, and that's a lot of us, thank you, JLab, for baking Tile functionality into your buds. It's gonna make a bud, I guarantee, out of Diana. That's the type of feature that when you have it, you won't be able to live without it. Seriously, that's a spoiler type of feature. Like in cars, even though I'm not a car aficionado, I'm not really a hardware kind of guy. Like there's one feature that once you have it, you can't live without it. I miss my heads-up display. I used to have one in the vehicle that I drove. But the one feature I can't live without in cars is the automatic adjustment for cruise control. Like I can't live without it. Cannot. Certain things I will never be able to live without again. Automatic adaptive cruise control, meaning you set it once and then you're always at a safe distance for the car in front of you. And electric. I'm all electric. Full electric. I'm electric cars for the win. And I know some people, well, you know, the hidden costs in electric vehicles are not as environmentally friendly and blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I just genuinely don't. Like, now that I'm electric, I can tell you, I don't care what the TCO is. I just like being in an electric vehicle far more than a gas vehicle. I don't mind driving past the pump and seeing gas prices what they are. I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to get taxed no matter what I do. So there's always going to be hidden costs. And, you know, it's not necessarily just about the environment. If it is about the environment, I just like the option. Once you have these certain features in your life changes. has gotten better. And these are iterative changes that make things better. So I would implore JLab, if they haven't already thought about this, to include that feature in upcoming products, because that, to me, it solves a problem before the problem happens. Is that not the best idea for a feature? Is that not? I think it is. Bobby Young says, I've been watching you for years. Oh, thank you. Went blind 4 years ago. Sorry. This year I could still use my phone. Apple's best accessibility features on the iPhone, in your opinion? Well, Bobby Young, I'm glad you have it then. I am glad that works for you. Me, at this point, I don't think I could do that. And I guess iPad OS is going to be rolling out on Monday, as of today. And I will be updating that. Jedi uses the iPad in the house. Because we had one and she needed some kind of larger screen. And it was like, well, let's just give her the iPad Pro that no one's using. It is still apparently having problems with Stage Manager. iPad Pro, or the iPad in general, and Stage Manager, I think you're going to see a lot of frustration in the coming weeks, because a lot of people who have been massive Apple supporters have been complaining about it in the beta. Like in public, like on Twitter. Like, the only thing I see about Stage Manager on the iPad is a complaint. That's it. I'm like, okay. So they're Apple's huge. This is the big feature of the new iPad, the iPad OS. This is why Stage Manager, it doesn't work. It's buggy. The software. What have I been saying for years? Look, I have not used it. I have no plans on using it on a regular basis. All I'm doing is regurgitating what other people are saying. People who love, live and die by Apple, own Apple, live in the ecosystem, are complaining about it. I'm like, what have I been saying for years? It isn't the hardware, it's the software. What's the point of having the hardware if the software doesn't sing along? Why? So anyway, good luck if you're upgrading. I will be upgrading my Mac to Ventura. I'm nervous because they rebooted the system preferences to be more like iOS. I've also seen people complain about that in the user experience. Not the UI. The UI seems ish. It's the UX that I'm concerned about. I'm nervous because I use system preferences, as do we all, and I don't know how cohesive it is. I don't know how clean it is and how easy it is to navigate. We'll see, because I have to use it. There's a bug in Mac OS that I've run into for at least the past year since using external screens. Each of my external screens, they're connected to both a Mac and a PC, so I can toggle back and forth, capable of pushing 144 hertz or frames per second, and they're adaptive refresh rate. The problem with the Mac is it handles adaptive refresh rate, but when you say, no, don't do adaptive, only stick to 144, it constantly reverts, especially when it power cycles. It constantly reverts and goes back to adaptive. And the problem when that happens is Mac OS will flash the screen. The screen will it'll go blank, the refresh rate will change, and then it'll come back. And then sometimes the monitor is not detected. So external monitor support on Mac OS, if it's not an Apple monitor, is really not great. So I have to use system preferences to keep things locked constantly. So if that experience is worse than it has been and it's been bad, you will be hearing me talk about that next week. Guaranteed. GC Laredo asks, in order for a tile item to be located as the phone that is in the proximity of the item, had to have the tile app installed. I believe so. Yeah, you'd have to have the tile service enabled, GC Laredo. I haven't actually used it because I just unboxed it, but I remember using the tile app years ago, for sure. Big Fan says, what do you think about YouTubers who don't like the policies of Twitch and don't want to move to Twitch because of that? Well, it's up to them. I mean, who am I to say? Everyone's got to make their own choices, for sure. It's good to have competition. I'll also say that. Circus also loves adaptive cruise control. I'm telling you, it's a feature you can't live without. What do I think about Tesla? Not much. I talked about Tesla very briefly in the video I recorded and uploaded this past week about Elon Musk and Twitter. That's got me nervous. Yeah, Tesla and quality control, and talking to some people who have operated on Teslas, like not just used them and purchased them and driven them, but actually like performed service on them. It's not, yeah, they're not, So that's what I think. I'm like, yeah, nope, I'm good. There are plenty of options out there. It's good to have competition. If you like yours, that's awesome. I am definitely not in the church of Tesla and absolutely not subscribed to the church of Elon Musk. Nels says, any chance you think Microsoft and Google team up to design a standard for auto switching for headphones like the AirPods have? So many people have AirPods because of this feature. Nels, I think it's possible because Microsoft has been cozying up to Samsung, or I guess both, and Microsoft's been kind of cozying up to Apple, and they've actually been making some interesting moves. Microsoft, I think, is rolling out. I'll have to catch the headline again, but I think they've got the Android stack running on Windows, and they're going to be updating that to Android 13 at some point in the near future. But it is ready. You can install Android apps on Windows now. It's been officially rolled out, which I think is an amazing idea. It's an amazing feature. It's making Windows, now that you can run Linux apps and Android apps, it's making it kind of the lingua franca, if you will. And it's getting better. ARM support is even getting better on Windows as well. So I appreciate Microsoft's flexibility with everything. And of course, last week I mentioned Apple because you're going to be able to access your Apple iPhoto library, or at least your iCloud library from Windows machines through the Photos app. Intel, of course, is rolled out, or will be rolling out. They haven't rolled it out yet, but they've already announced a system that will allow you to more easily experience like your messages and photos and everything from your Android phone on your desktop. I mean, Windows has just become this interesting middle ground, and I really like that evolution. I really do. It sets it apart in a dramatic way. And while we're on the subject of Microsoft teaming up with Google and teaming up with all these other companies, I do think it's possible. It all boils down to those relationships, though, and building a feature that that's going to be able to scale up. Kind of like how Google will see the Android ecosystem evolving, and instead of them doing each OEM doing their own thing, like for like multi-screen devices, they just bake that support into Android. So I would like to see Microsoft do the same thing. So instead of this manufacturer doing that and that manufacturer doing this, if Microsoft builds it into the stack, it makes it easier for partners to latch onto that common framework and to effectively roll something out that becomes more ubiquitous, right? So I think it's possible, Nels. In terms of likelihood, I'm not sure. The thing I wanted to say about Windows, something that's been bothering me for a while, actually, and I did something this week that didn't think I'd ever do. I've been using Windows, so that's not the thing. I love dark mode. Live for dark mode. Ever since dark mode, I'm like, yes, dark mode, all the things. Love dark mode. Like the reason I love using the Samsung device is I feel like a lot of their first-party apps are dark mode all the way. Google has been dark mode-ish, but to me, dark mode is black, like full black. Not dark gray, not light gray, black, pure nothing, black. And Samsung, I felt, has done a better job with that with its first-party apps. But I noticed something with Windows in the latest update that finally got pushed to my system. It was compatible, finally deemed compatible with the tabbed Explorer. The new Windows Explorer is tabbed. I don't see myself using that feature necessarily, but like in the way that I use Windows, what I'll notice is that even when you're launching Edge, the window flashes white. Like the background of the window, no matter what, it just flashes white and then the thing loads. Or like the Windows Explorer, I see it flash white and then the thing loads. In dark mode, that's really jarring. Or in other apps, depending on, again, how they were built. Like the new Microsoft Paint, the MS Paint app, doesn't flash white before it loads. It flashes black before it loads a white screen. I'm like, what is going on? So I'd like to get to the bottom of this because it's driving me nuts. So what I decided to do, since I use the Windows Explorer often and Edge often, to mitigate the shortcoming of the window flashing white, is I turned off dark mode. Turned it off in Windows completely. And I gotta tell you, Windows is better in light mode. The user experience wasn't made for dark mode. Not yet. I mean, it's there, and it's going to get there, but Windows is still very much a bright, white, light operating system. Very much. And if you have not, I mean, if you're on Windows and you're dark mode, I'm telling you, I feel, because I hadn't looked at, once they gave me the option, I've been dark mode for years, right? I forget light mode, right? I was just done. I was like, dark mode. But when you start digging deeper, you start realizing how much more inconsistent Windows is in dark mode. Today, toggling to light mode was interesting. I'm like, this is kind of become usable again. Like this is kind of, it's not cohesive. It's not necessarily my favorite experience. Like there's still certain things that I really don't like about the Windows user interface. Like I don't like how it handles scroll bars at all. I think it's fugly. Other people are going to beg to differ. I wish I could change certain colors and certain aspects of the scroll bars. But I feel Windows is way better. Windows 11, potentially even 10. Windows 11 certainly way better. Way cleaner, way more consistent, though not fully consistent, in light mode. That was a surprise. But I did it because I was tired of Windows flashing white and then going dark. I'm like, what is this? This is just, what? And I'm not the only person to notice that behavior. Some people say, well, have you upgraded your video drivers? I'm like, it's not the video drivers. It's the frameworks that these apps are using. Like, it doesn't matter if I have, the latest drivers. Like, ultimately, if Microsoft Edge decides to load something on Windows with a white screen and then load the page, I can't, how does a video driver have anything to do with that, right? It doesn't. So it's the flash, almost threw my glasses off. It's the flash that drives me nuts. Seriously. Turned it off. Oh my God. So much better. So much better. Thank you, Digital Death, for joining. And hello, Blue Harvest Toys. Good to see you. You need to relaunch Finder every time you change wallpaper. Finder freezes when you change wallpaper. Really, Ahmed? I guess I haven't run it. I don't change my wallpaper. It's like black or white. It's like one of the two. Ryan. Hey, Ryan. Good to see you. Somewhat tech related. What are your thoughts about 75% of Twitter staff being potentially cut following Musk's takeover? Well, if it happens, I did a video talking about it. This is before that memo had been leaked, but that would be devastating. It would, forget about cutting the staff. There's already this looming dark cloud over Twitter. Like, I'm worried about Twitter. I really am. I'm not saying, I'm going to leave the platform should something happen, but it calls into question the future viability of Twitter. It really does, and there's no alternative right now. None whatsoever. Forget about leadership. Like, if they change how things are fundamentally, and they change the feel of what brings me and keeps me on Twitter, it's a concern. It is a big concern. Huge. But it would take something gigantic to shift people away. And I don't think people are going to move to TikTok, and they're not going to move to Facebook. They're definitely not going to move to Facebook. There's nowhere else to move. And I know some people are like, Mastodon. I don't think people are going to go in droves. I don't think that's the way it's going to be. But it's jarring. It really is. Twitter has been needing to evolve for some amount of years. It seems that they're iterating a lot faster since Musk, this whole Musk business got stirred up. I wish that wasn't because Musk was making the threat, if you will. It's a concern. It really is. But I can't judge because it hasn't happened, right? I'm concerned because I like Twitter. I would be happy if the change, should it come, made things better. Like, I'm not going to sit there and say, it's a horrible, like, well, what if, for argument's sake, things get better? I'm not saying that it would get better with 75% of the people leaving, because trust me, if there was a company that I would love, there are certain companies that in my life I would love to say I work for. I love saying I work for Intel. Love. Because of how I grew up and when I grew up, and to be a part of something and to be a part of Intel's journey into the future. I love being a part of that change. Love. I would love to be a part of any company's culture and change, especially the companies that we all use or we are all very familiar with. Twitter would be one of those companies. And I love the Twitter product, just like I've loved the Intel product over these years. So, I'm not sure where I fell on that. It's concerning, if only because it kind of just casts this dark cloud over what Twitter is today and its future. Do I use Linux? No, I do not. Not today, pal. I do not. Not that I have anything wrong with it. It's just there's nothing that it offers me that I can't get anywhere else. Blue Harvest started using Apple products in 2016 for podcasting at first for YouTube. Tell me why I'm wrong. You're not. For just using or just Apple products, you're not wrong. You're never wrong. everyone's got to make their own choice. I mean, my biases are going to be different from yours. My experiences are going to be different. My needs are going to be different. My budgets are going to be different. If it works for you, man, that's awesome. I love finding out that it works for somebody else. The worst thing that you can do is say, oh, I have a problem with X, and then someone else tell you that they don't have the problem. Like, that doesn't help. That's not helpful to say that you don't have the problem. That doesn't negate me having the problem. So you're not wrong, Blue Harvest Toys, if it works for you. If it doesn't, then you're wrong. Oh, good to see you, Geekanoids. Happy to have you here. Thank you for loving the new tech channel. It is there. Still on the road to recovery. Good to hear that, Geekanoids. Fellow geek of mine, fellow tech fan out there. Am I the king of the nerds? I don't know if I'm the king of the nerds. Although I did know a few of the king of the nerds. Celeste Anderson. She's still out there playing Halo. Forcing me to pay money for editing tweets is absurd. Ahmed, I think it's an interesting flex. I wouldn't say it's absurd. I would pay for Twitter. But right now, even the ability to edit tweets is kind of... like, they've got to offer... For me to pay $5, they got to offer me a lot more. A lot more than that. Way more. Like, okay, on Twitch. And at some point, theoretically, on this channel, too, you can pay to join on this channel, or you can pay to subscribe on Twitch. One of the new features on Twitch now will allow me to bring anybody who wants to, and then, you know, for a certain period of time or whatever, on as a live guest in the stream. Like, you can now do, like, guest stars in a Twitch stream up to, like, 5 people at a time, which I think would be an interesting. So I'm going to experiment with that tonight for subscribers. So another reason that someone might want to subscribe to my Twitch channel is that, well, there's an option and an opportunity to join for a conversation. Option. That's not to say that's always going to happen and the conversations are going to be great, but it's just an option to kind of do these experimental hangouts with with people who subscribe to the channel. So I have no problem paying for something like that if that was an option that I could have with any of the creators that I might follow. But Twitter, I don't know if it knows what people want to pay for, because even with that feature built behind Twitter Blue, or, you know, I guess underlying that Twitter Blue feature, or the prospect of Twitter Blue, it wasn't implemented perfectly. I guess there are certain tweets that can't be edited. Certain tweets can, but other tweets can't. I'm like, okay. Like, Facebook figured this out years ago. I don't really know. I mean, I understand why this could be an issue, but man, just knowing that it's not implemented as well is, I don't know. I'm like, I'm not going to pay for that. Like, give me an implementation. Give me something worth paying for. I have no problem whatsoever paying for services that I use. No problem paying YouTube, what is it, $10 a month to not see ads? No problem at all. None whatsoever. Don't even bat an eyelash, right? Like, okay. Because I use YouTube, right? And I just don't want to be bombarded with ads. I don't need to be. Twitch allows you to do the same thing with Twitch Turbo, like $9-10 a month, and no ads on Twitch. So that, you know, you can complain about ads, but if you are a power user and they give you an option to pay out of it, see, that's the thing, is like, Twitter hasn't given me any really truly astounding reason to pay him $5 a month. And here's the thing, I would be happy to pay Twitter $5 a month because I use it that much. No problem. I'm sure. Yeah, I'd pay. No problem. I have no problem saying that I'd pay for services that I use. And I don't think anybody should. Like, and I know some people are on a fixed income and limited budget. I get that. But if you're talking about something that you use on a regular basis and something that you love and something that you appreciate, and they're saying, hey, you can get a little more for just a little more, what's the problem? It's like going to McDonald's and getting a small fry, and they say, you know, for just 50 cents more, we'll supersize it. You know, what's the difference? You feel me? Do you understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I always find it weird when people invest a certain amount in, like, let's say a smartphone. I'm like, oh, I got the smartphone because it can help me do X, Y, and Z. And then they say, all right, well, here's a feature that we could take advantage of, you know, but it costs money. Well, who cares? So it costs money. So pay up, or don't. Like, but you can't complain when they give you the option. It's the options that they give you that are a little. I'm a little leery on the options that Twitter gives, at least for that. What do I think? Paid subscriptions now available on Instagram. I've seen it. I guess I don't know where to toggle it. I'd turn it on, but I'm not sure why people would pay to use my, or to have access to anything on Instagram. But I've got super followers. You can be a super follower on Twitter. If I could do more for super followers, I would. I'm not sure Twitter's really turned on that spigot yet. Twitter's the only social network you don't feel the desire to leave. So brilliant for breaking news, conversation, etc. Prefer linear timelines to algorithms. I feel the same way, Ryan. I honestly, I don't know what I would do. If I had to drop Twitter, even though the app sucks, it sucks so bad. It's so jank. iOS, it's pretty decent, but on Android, it is total jank fest. On any Android device. Ryan, I don't know what I would do. I really don't. It's a concern. So, I don't know. So that's my feeling about what, paying and editing tweets, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't know if you caught this. Microsoft is working on PC Manager. You've heard of CCleaner before? I mean, this is an old app, right? So PC Manager is basically, from Windows 10 on up, is going to be working with storage and startup app management, a way to quickly kill processes and more. So I think that's nice that Microsoft's built that in. Like, really, really, really nice. Like, to give power users a feature, or even new users. Though I got to tell you, over the years, I don't mess around with a lot of that stuff anymore. The tweaking things. I mean, I do when I set up a device. I'm like, I want to try to get it the way I like it, and then I'm going to stick with it. But like the memory cleaning and the cache, I don't do it all that often. The most I have to do it on is my Mac, because I've got the video files, and the way the libraries are set up, they get stored. And so I do have to watch the storage. I'm like, oh, I got to nuke that stuff every so often. But that's less about temporary file cleaning and background processes, and more just about disk management, general disk management. Oops. So anyway, they're going to be releasing that, so you can stay tuned if you're on Windows. This is just a Windows kind of day, isn't it? It's all about the Windows. These are hey, this is what's on my radar this week. This is me here on my radar. The only other thing that I saw that I'm thinking about signing up for, this came in an ad. This is an ad on Twitter. It's a video editor called Runway. So runwayml.com is like a web-based video editor that's compatible with teams of people and everything. And with it, you can do awesome things like effectively remove video backgrounds easily inline. You can paint out certain objects in a video easily. You can do motion tracking automatically, and that kind of thing with automatic subtitles, automatic noise removal, beat detection, etc., and working with teams. I'm like, that's interesting, because I'm doing the vlog now, right? And there are certain times I'm like, I wish I could have done this, I wish I could have done that. There's a wait list for it, but the cool thing is there's a free level. And I like that, the freemium idea. There's the pro level, of course, but the pricing is $12 per editor per month, which is reasonable if you do a lot of video. Very reasonable. But the thing that I like about the free tier is that it gives you access to the green screen, in-painting, clean audio, subtitles, and others. So they give you pretty much everything, every feature that you might need at the basic level for free. I just heard about this. Runwayml.com. So I want to be checking that out, and maybe playing with a couple of videos, like motion tracking specifically. I think would be kind of an interesting thing to do. Content aware for video, essentially. Yeah, I guess, Nels. I'm not sure. Zombie, you prefer walls? Well, unless you have Wi-Fi, then you don't like walls. Walls are bad. Walls are bad when it comes to Wi-Fi. I've learned that. Tech has gotten so much cheaper in terms of performance per dollar that on Windows, unless you're doing something crazy, I can't see you needing to optimize your RAM. That's what I'm saying, Nels. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but it's more for people like my dad who say they need everything clean and everything, you know, oh, am I optimized? Is this happening? Is that happening? And I'm not sure that I would use it because I've got the same type of experience on Android. The apps like Good Lock and Good Guardians have got like these tweaking features. Good Guardians probably more so, but I've never really managed my RAM. After every update, it offers to like optimize whatever the heck it's doing. I don't know. I can't. It says, oh, are things not feeling a snap anymore? Run your optimization. So I'd imagine that clears caches and does all that. But I might do that maybe once every couple of months, maybe. But rarely do I run into that. Rarely do I run into that issue of needing to do that. Raymond Behringer says, from your recommendation, I've been using the Brave browser. No pop-ups. It works perfect on mobile devices. Yeah, the Brave browser is nice, Raymond. I was going to be doing a Chrome alternatives video. That's a video that once I've run through my queue, I do want to record to talk about Chrome alternatives. That I think is going to be critical as Chrome rolls out, Manifest, the next version of Manifest v3, where it's basically killing off traditional ad blockers. I know that that's going to be a big deal. People are going to be switching and looking for alternatives real soon. So I'm currently Chrome, but I may end up flipping back to Brave on the desktop. On mobile, though, for iOS, yeah, I'd say Brave over Safari, for the reason of trackers built in, you know, ad blocking built in, all that stuff built in. You don't need any kind of third-party extensions or anything. Like, forget the cryptocurrency crap, right? Brave, even though I don't like the user interface as much, I don't find it as nice personally. I feel for people on iOS, Brave is a great option. On the desktop, I think Brave is a solid option. I don't find it as nice as Chrome right now, specifically Chrome, with what is it, uBlock Origin. But on Android, my recommendation is using Samsung Internet Beta. Beta's been solid. You can just use Samsung, even if you don't have a Samsung phone, because Brave is clean, but I feel Samsung Internet on Android provides the smoothest scroll on an Android device for a web browser, by far. For real. And I'm all about the smooth scroll. So if you're looking for smooth scrolling on Android, Samsung Internet, period. End of story, even if you're on a Samsung device. Smooth scrolling on iOS has never been an issue, though, in web browsing at least. Oddly, I don't find a lot of scrolling jank in Safari, so if only the whole platform was Safari. AdGuard works so well and is OS-wide. True that, Nels. I don't use AdGuard on iOS. I've used it on Safari on the desktop. I have the option, but it runs as a separate app, a separate process, so I don't always have it running, but I don't use Safari the same way others do. I use it, but it's not my default browser. So it's there as a backup. Firefox should be considered. I don't know about Firefox performance. When I ran it on my Mac last time, it was so janktacular. It was just bad. Very bad. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to try this again. Or I'm going to wait until I actually need to try it again. So, and I know they've updated and they've changed a variety of things, but yeah, honestly, Firefox has never been my jam, ever. It's never been my jam. I've never liked the interface. Performance has been fine. Years ago, I felt the performance was more dramatic. But a mobile Firefox, I have not tried either. But like I said, Samsung Internet Browser, the beta at least, it provided the smoothest scroll and largely the most amount of compatibility. If I run into a compatibility issue on mobile, the first thing I'll do is just open Chrome because it's already installed. So I've not tried. I'm not a Firefox fanboy. I know some people love it. If you like privacy apps or honeypot by the gov, I wouldn't go that far. That's kind of conspiratorial. I definitely could not prove that, nor disprove it. I'm not sure I'd go, that far, but yeah, with every day, every bit of news that comes out, I'm just like, I'm that much more concerned. I actually saw, there was a tweet, now that you mentioned this, there's a tweet that was tweeted. Give me a second. Let me pull it up here. I quote tweeted. I'm going to get it exactly because I got to read this. And I read it and I thought, man, I love this. And I started following this person immediately because I feel the same way. Shannon Valor. Now, to give you context, Shannon Valor is a philosopher, director, Center TM Adventures, University of Edinburgh, a tech AI ethicist. Like, I'm like, this is the type of person I love to follow, right? Like this, I have felt this way for the longest time. Seriously, and I've lamented this, and I know this. A lot of this goes right over everybody's heads because y'all are about, oh, here's the latest hardware. Like, we'll see. Oh, hey, Gareth Ross, good to see you. Oh, you got the Xiaomi? I'm so jealous. I want to try one. I can't get that stuff easily here in the States, Gareth, so I'm gonna have to live vicariously. Man Cave Hobbies, good evening. Happy to see you. Glad you've got my Vader 3D printed Vader. As your avatar. Let me grab Man Cave Hobbies avatar in a second, then I'm going to continue with the philosopher's tweet. Before I was 3D printing, Man Cave Hobbies printed this for me and sent it from the UK. So that's his avatar right there. Isn't that great? Isn't that awesome? So cool. So you got the Xiaomi. How are tech companies able to do these very limited quantity promotions? It's just about the budget, being able to get saturation, get it out there, and you got to make deals, wheel and deal. That's what they're about. So that's how they may not be making a lot of money, but what are they gaining? They're potentially gaining users. I do wish we had more choice though in the States, Gareth. I would love to try what you're able to try. So back to the philosopher's tweet. This is from Shannon Valor. And I'm going to quote, this is her. The saddest thing for me about modern tech's long spiral into user manipulation and surveillance is how it has slowly killed off the joy that people like me used to feel about new tech. Every product Meta or Amazon announces makes the future seem bleaker and grayer. It used to be the opposite. Tech was one of the things I loved most. I still remember the feeling when I rode the first BART trains in SF, when I saw my first Concorde, my little head exploded, my Commodore PET. The last time tech made me truly gleeful was these glories. And there's a photo of the, remember the iMacs? The old iMac, like the first iMac, with the colors, this vibrant rainbow. That was the last time tech made her truly gleeful. I would say, I couldn't tell you, I couldn't mark the time where it made me gleeful, but nonetheless, it is a thing. So I continue, because I had to explain the image. Shannon continues. What will it take for us to get that feeling back? Let me say that again. What will it take for us to get that feeling back? I don't think it's just my nostalgia, is it? There's no longer anything being promised to us by tech companies that we don't, there's no longer anything being promised to us by tech companies that we actually need or asked for. Just more monitoring, more nudging, more draining of our data, our time, our joy. And I felt, I guess my outlook is not as bleak as that, but it spoke to how I have felt about this the tech for long, and I've talked about this. I've said, someone asked me the other week, and I did the video, like, what do you think when you hear the word technology? I'm like, well, I used to think this, and now I don't. And so her tweet was pretty much underscoring everything that I had said in recent weeks. So I thought it was fascinating to hear this from a philosopher, and not to say that I'm a philosopher and I think, but I have given, immense thought to why I don't see tech the way that techies do. I don't see tech the way that you do. I see it differently. I do see it as iterative, and I do see it as fun in certain aspects, but also frightening in other aspects. AI, dude, I'm like, well, this is really cool. Or ML. I'm like, dude, that video editor I was just mentioning, it's all about ML. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. It can help save so much time and effort and energy. I mean, AI to be able to generate, on a command, like something that I couldn't do before. That's amazing. But, the converse of that is AI could eat the world. Like, it could take over the world. It could not replace us theoretically fully, but what does it mean? What is the dark side of that, right? Not just looking at tech for everything that it does and does not do, but everything that it might be able to do in a bad way. You can't just look at tech and say it's amazing in every aspect. No, it's amazing, but it's also amazing. It's awesome, but it's also awesome. With great power comes great responsibility. So I just thought that was probably my favorite of the week. That was easily my favorite tweet of the week. There was a lot of good tweets. None of them were mine. Though. But anyway, I thought it was an interesting thing to say. I don't think tech's going to disappear. I mean, it's here to stay. I think we're going to continue to iterate. It just speaks to Chris. I have to ask, why am I not excited? Everyone else is excited. What am I not seeing here? I get excited when I'm like, I need a solution to my problem. That's when I get excited, right? Like, I'm losing, I can't find my earbud. I wish I could track them. Now I got a feature that's built in, but that's when you get excited, when the feature actually complements something that you need, like 3D printing. Like, I wish I had more, figures, right? Well, now I can print. In fact, I'm printing a couple new Dark Troopers right now on my printer. You probably can't hear it running because I've got the sound mitigated on my desk, or at least mostly. So I'm cautious about tech as it rolls out, especially new tech. Fascinated, interested, excited, but at the same time, cautious. And her tweets speak to that caution. So I thought it was good food for thought. I thought it was really good food for thought. Not Today Pal asks me about foldable phones. Just did a video on that like a couple weeks ago in this channel. You might have missed it because YouTube. What are you gonna do? YouTube. Shrug emoji. You think some Xiaomi products are available at Target? Yeah, but it's not the same, Gareth. I'd like to try the phones. I had years ago. I did Xiaomi. I didn't get the phone. Xiaomi sent a couple of products, like a light and something else, but that was it. Wish I could get all the products to try. Nels notes, consumer tech has also gone stagnant. Look at the phone 4 versus the iPhone 14 compared from an iPhone and a phone from 1995. Healthcare is where tech is going to rapidly change. We'll have to focus on ethics. Well, here's the thing, Nels. To speak to ethics, I think ethics needs to be front and center. Front and center. That is my bigger concern. That is not the awesome, it's the awesome. We have to think about that. And I think we have to give serious thought to that, and I wish more people did. Instead of just launching into this is the most amazing thing. There was actually a report recently, a profile of Stability AI founder and CEO. He's become a polarizing figure within the AI community. It's all about the people, ethics, right? And their ethics. It's about the people. And here's another report. There are companies out there using AI to build tech to let users talk to digital versions of deceased loved ones by video chat, text, phone, voice assistants. This was actually not predicted, but it was in the show on HBO. What's it called? Not very popular. What is the program? God, it's a girl. What is the name of the program on HBO? She's like trapped, and she's married to someone who's trapped her and has implanted a chip in her head. And there's a part where she's talking to her mom, or her dad, who's dying, is talking to her mom, but her mom is a voice assistant on a phone, but acts exactly like her mom. It's just like, what are the ethics behind that? Are there ethics behind representing someone who's dead? I'm sure there's enough content from me out there that someone could eventually build an AI Chris Pirillo. Not like you would want one. Or think about this. Several artists whose work was included in the data set used to train Stable Diffusion say they're angry that they weren't informed, asked, for consent or paid. So when you talk about ethics and technology are hand in hand, or they should be. Boom. These are the things that you just don't, on your average tech YouTube channels, you don't hear a lot about. You really don't. And these are the conversations, honestly, I'd rather have in doing these live streams, because I find them to be far more fascinating, because the implications of any and all of this are awesome, but awesome, you know? It's the two sides of the awesome factor to me. Would you want to be immortalized like that? I guess I wouldn't. I'm dead. What would I care? You know, I'm dead. That's your problem. You deal with pretend me, or to have, you know, future generations, you know, being able to, you know, interact and hear me. It's scary, but it's coming. Scary, but it's happening. Scary because it's unknown, and what's unknown is not just the technology, but the implications of the technology. That's what's frightening. We're always afraid of the unknown. It's the human condition. This is who we are. Technology is breaking down boundaries so fast that we're not stopping long enough to ask, should we be doing this? What are the implications of doing this? Who does this help? Who might this hurt? And I think in the race to be faster, better, newer, etc., sometimes these critical conversations don't happen at the level they need to. And it's the same issue I find with companies that release products when they haven't considered the users, right? Like developers who release products without considering the user experience. Developers who release products without considering what's the customer want. What do they want? Listen to the customer. Be the best product managers out there are the ones who are the customer, or who listen to the customer to accommodate what does the customer want and steer the product in that direction. But not every product manager is like that. Not every. When I've worn the product manager hat, you're darn right I represented the customer. You're darn right I sat at the table as a customer to make sure their needs were represented. Is this going to work? Is this going to be valuable for the customer, the intended user? I'm a user advocate, always have been. But part of being a user advocate is thinking about the ethics of AI. This is technology, people. You wanted tech talk. This is as techie as it gets. May not be as sexy as a slab of glass to you, but I'm telling you, it's a far more important conversation to have. It's a conversation that's going to be increasingly relevant. And the fact that I'm seeing myself having the similar feelings to someone who basically gets paid to think, a philosopher, right? Like, this is eerily similar. Like, I'm not saying I'm a philosopher. Maybe I should go back to school and become what do you do for a living? I think. Really? What do you do? I think. I just sit there and think. That's what I do. I think. You get paid to think? Yeah, I get paid to think. It's great. Right now, I don't get paid to think. Nobody pays me to think that I know of. They might pay me for my thoughts, but not to think, right? Yeah, Duff's Biz, I did hear about I didn't listen to it, but the AI podcast of Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs. I'm telling you, a lot more of that's going to happen. You thought deepfake was an issue before. You ain't seen nothing yet. And you may be thinking, Chris, whatever, Chris, this is so unimportant. Go back to more interesting things. No. You just wait. Cycles are coming. It's going to come, and you're going to say, you know what? Maybe you'll remember, maybe you won't. Maybe you won't have heard me to begin with talk about this stuff years from now. You're going to say, man, Chris was right. We should have been listening. We should have been talking about that stuff. I'm telling you, this is an area that I think merits a lot of discussion. Ethics and AI. AI is fascinating. All the new tools, very exciting. ML, machine language, machine learning, yeah. Machine language. Different kind of ML, I guess. Would I want to be frozen when I die? I don't know about that. Be like Austin Powers, although he wasn't dead. I don't think so. It's been about an hour, so I'd like to wrap up. Keep this at about an hour. If you want to join me for future tech conversations, I'm live every night on Twitch. There's a new feature that I want to try tonight on Twitch called Guest Star. So if you're a subscriber of mine on Twitch, I'll be inviting people to join me on stream tonight to have these types of conversations, to hear what people think, and to chat together about this stuff. So feel free to join me on Twitch. Feel free to follow. You can join. The link is in the video. All the relevant links should be in the video description, for sure. I'll end it here with Ahmed, and thank you for tagging me on stuff, Nabil, on Twitter. What do I think about the Google Messenger update? It's an icon change. Not all that exciting. In fact, Samsung has not rolled out the icon change yet. I've got messages with the icon that was updated on Google's end, but Samsung hasn't yet updated it, which is really weird because Samsung has a different twist on it. Ahmed, to contextualize what I was saying, he's tagged me on quite a few threads on Twitter that I've appreciated, including Snazzy Q's recent tweet suggesting that Apple's nerfed the effectiveness of noise cancellations on AirPods Max with a new firmware. So I guess he's suggesting it's the iPhone throttling saga all over again. Is Apple doing that intentionally? This would be a good conversation to have with Quinn, though. Would it not? Wouldn't that be a fascinating conversation to have with Quinn? I think it'd be awesome. So I will see everybody later. If I'm not able to catch you on Twitch, then I've been trying to stick to these weekend live updates, these tech talks with you. Hopefully you enjoyed your time. Thank you for watching all the way. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting, watching the shorts, turning on notifications, doing everything that you do to get this tech channel chugging along. We're just beginning or re-beginning. Could not do this without you. I love you. I appreciate you. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices, and may the force be with you always. I don't know how to do a Twitch redirect into another live stream yet. I got to learn how to do it. Twitch doesn't make... I'm sorry. Twitter... where am I? YouTube doesn't make it easy, or as easy as it should. But until next time, I will you later.